If I were to just start apologizing for the things that we did wrong 10 years ago, the show would never end.
G4 was really one of the very last cable channels ever launched. It was the end of this linear cable era before we got to streaming and whatever it is we watch now.
Something unique, something different, something a little meta, something that was turn the mirror back onto pop culture and kind of spit in its face, but then wipe it off and give you a kiss at the same time.
He was a TV host who was also a production assistant on another show.
Oh, nice molester stash.
You do know who that is, right?
It's Shia LaBeouf, Transformer Kid.
No, it's you.
Friend sent me a series of VHS resume tapes. There was no one better than Whitney Cummings until Olivia Munn came on set.
Hello, Governor. I am Olivia Munn.
She delivered amazingly.
We dumped a bunch of snakes on her. Wow.
Was Olivia wearing slave Leia at Comic-Con?
History in the making.
The floodgates that they were open.
Fans were losing their minds.
We were being hounded.
It was also kind of subversive 4chan dark comedy.
We did stuff that would not fly.
Go for Power Girl.
You're a whore. Also, more susceptible to getting AIDS.
And then from there, the wheels were off the bus.
We got another light bulb, right? Deal, check out.
And it's on fire.
The world has been waiting for a half Chinese, half American girl diving into a giant chocolate-filled cream pie.
I want he jumped.
And right before we went live, Kevin had just shown me 2 girls, 1 cup.
Sex with dragons is one of God's special mysteries.
I spent 8 years researching space dragon sex.
Mannequins.
Not all of those things that happened on the show
I don't swallow with Kevin.
would be acceptable by today's standards.
The infamous fat suit gag, one of our production management was gonna walk.
I did a lot of on-camera drinking. Try a beer from every single.
2.7. You should be dead.
People will look at a broadcast back then and think, ooh.
Oh my.
Yeah.
You can't do that anymore.
Man, we did it once, but now no more. You can't do that no more.
Hello. Hello. My name is Dr. Lecter. Not only am I a doctor, but I'm a member. Welcome to Slashers Anonymous. Hi, my name's Jason. Hello. You can call me Jay. I like that. That's cool. Hi, I'm Chucky. Hello. I don't want to be here, but I am. Oh, yeah, and I'm a slasher, I guess. Hello, I'm Pinhead, as some call me, or your hell priest. And I am a slasher. And why haven't we done this sooner? This is excellent. This is a wonderful idea. I haven't seen so many of you in so long. Hello, my name's Fred. Hello. I'm a slasher. Hello, I'm Dr. Hannibal Lecter. I took over the Norman Bates Institute a few years ago. Our owner, he stops by from time to time, but right now he's on vacation with his mother. You'd be surprised the lack of facilities for slashers out there today. So needless to say, we're the premier institute for serial killer mental health, especially for the unkillable, undead, and metaphysical. This is my favorite place to be every week because all my friends are here, and that little dog guy who I don't like because he's really creepy and he scares me. I am here because my boss says I get a little too wrapped up in my job. I guess I love my work. I find a lot of pleasure in it. But after I got here, I seen the benefits of Slashers Anonymous, and I'm so glad that I have joined the group. I don't know, I guess it's pretty cool to get to hang out with these guys, except for Jason. Hey, Fuck, that's not nice. Get sick of you every goddamn day. Oh, you mean? I'm really just here for the free coffee. I just don't know what it is. I'm there, and they're there, and I'm looking at them, and I'm like, just don't run, bitch. Don't run. Don't run. I'm gonna chase you. Don't run. So she runs. That drives me insane. It makes me want to kill him. I can't stop.
It's okay, Jason. Oh, that's why you're here. We're here to learn how to control our urges. As much as I want to eat that man's face, I cannot right now. I have to wait till later. Sometimes you just have to let things go, Jason.
I can't help it.
Of course, except for half.
Even if it's a naked bitch.
That is your thing. I get it. Embrace it.
I know. I'm a dog and they are my car.
Well, sometimes you just gotta choke a bitch. I believe that breakthrough would bring us to our group motto. Slash Anonymous is not here to change
It's I'm here to change the better me,
to make me better me. And always, to quote Mr. Bates, we all go a little mad sometimes. Well, there's probably 167 things I'd rather be doing right now, but it's either this or hang out with the kids and wife. I need a fucking hobby. All day do we Dembella. Give me the power, I beg of you. Monsieur de Bois Chaillot. J'accuse and me pois de mort. Andele pois de poissé Dembella. Stop trying to put your soul into Michael. Why are you gonna ruin the fun? He's got no personality. It's like a potty trick. I don't care. I told you not to do that. It's rude. Well, Michael, were you wanting to share anything with the group today? Perhaps? No?
He says, no, I'm good. How the fuck do you know what he's saying? I guess I speak his language. Honestly, I really don't have a lot to really complain about or anything like that. It's pretty cool being me. Well, except for kids nowadays. They fucking suck. They got this thing called a safe space. You guys know what I'm talking about? I know. Fucking stupid, right? So, like, I'm getting into their dreams, and they go and hide in this safe space, and I can't fucking get to them. Drives me insane. If I had hair, I'd pull it out. Ugh. So anyway, other than that, it's just putting up with Jason, who just happens to be my fucking roommate, who I'm sure you've heard me complain about 60 fucking times.
Yes, I have to admit we have a very eclectic group, but I have to admit they've made me a much better doctor than I have them patients. That's 'cause you suck, Doc. Oh, shut up, Charles. Do shut up. Little scallion.
Who made the lemon squares? Me? I have not known such pleasures. Thank you. Next week, I'm bringing brownies.
Television highlights of the news of yesteryear.
Good evening and welcome to the weekly wrap-up. I'm Tom Connors. We have with us tonight the
the Mexican Iron Man, the greatest YouTuber in the world.
You stop that right now, sir. You stop that before we even get started. We will not have any of that talk tonight.
No. I can't, because it's true.
What?
You are the best of us, sir. Also joining us, Jacob from Society Reviews. How are you doing?
Hey, what's going on?
It's going. We're here on the weekly wrap-up. We're the only ones so far. Hopefully some more join us soon, but we've got a lovely audience joining us already, like Kenneth LaRock, Nicholas Horton, Jason Webster, Putin's Cat, Trap 3D, and so many more. Hopefully you've had a good weekend. And how was your weekend, Jacob?
It was up and down, but I got a lot of work done this weekend. I got a whole lot of movie reviews to catch up on this week. I got like maybe 8 films that are on my queue right now, movies I have to watch and review. So it'll be very, very busy next couple of weeks before I get anywhere near caught up. So
I hear you. How was your weekend, Mikey?
A lot of work, working. Because I'm going to go out of town this week on Thursday at the crack of dawn at 3 a.m. I got to drive to the airport, catch an early flight, and then I am gone for 5 or 6 days straight.
Oh, yeah? Going on vacay or what's up?
Little vacay. Going to be heading out to Utah. Going to meet up with a couple friends of mine, do a little pew-pew action for a few days. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Then going to drive to Idaho, hang out with friends for a day or two, and then fly back Tuesday. So it's not a whole week. It's like, well, kind of, yeah.
A couple of days.
I'm leaving Thursday morning, and I get back Wednesday morning on a red eye.
Almost a week.
Yeah. Much needed vacay. Much needed replenishment of the heart, mind, and soul of Mexican Iron Man.
Yeah. Well, don't be dating too many married women soon.
No, there won't be any of that. It'll be pew-pew action in the middle of nowhere. And the only thing I might get hit on, it might be a deer or a squirrel.
You better be right, because any pew action, you might have another Mikey Jr. to deal with.
What?
No.
Or if you get in too deep, you'll be dealing with a real pew situation.
Oh, good point.
Yeah, don't be doing that. Walter Tomaszewski's in the house. How you doing? Sends in $4.99. Thank you so much for that. Says U.S. Copyright Office has stated that AI-generated works are public domain as the author must be human. This is correct. At least in the U.S. it is. How will such a ruling affect studio and actors? Well,
glad you asked.
This is something we've talked a lot about. I would suggest you check out our stream. I believe it was Tuesday night with Script Doctor, where he got into a lot of this stuff, and he's done a video on it himself. It's something where I don't think it's quite there yet to where they're going to be able to use it to take over writers in Hollywood, nor would they want to because of this reason you just said right here. But it's hard to say how it's going to affect the future going forward. What do you think, Jacob, as a writer yourself, as a journalist, I guess?
Well, we've been talking about this whole writer strike for the last week or so. At this point in time, I'm all for the writers striking. I just hope they don't come back. I mean, we talked about the last writer strike was 2007 when that was actually a big deal, where some major TV shows were threatened and being pulled and being I can understand then being concerned about it. This time around, it's we're going to lose the people who write Euphoria or other garbage television shows. We don't really need them at this point. And then the whole thing with the AI is that it feels like that, there's certain individuals that are trying to fast track this whole AI thing, which is clearly a terrible idea, but you can tell people all day that what they're doing is terrible and they'll just keep doing it anyway. So I don't know exactly how this whole thing is going to fall out with AI and writing. I just feel like that there's going to be a large number of people one way or another that are going to be out of jobs in Hollywood in the very near future. Yeah. So and enjoy your check now while you can, because you may want to save up that money.
There you go. Mikey, what's your take on this?
The weirdest thing just happened this past week that hadn't happened before, which is that I use, as you guys know, I'm in the tax and accounting world. Mm-hmm. And there's this system that I use to manage my practice. And out of nowhere on, was it Wednesday morning, I woke up to a message and I just dismissed it when you log into the dashboard. And this is the system I use to manage all my clients in 4 time zones and my staff around the country.
Yeah.
And I got a little some kind of ad, attend this seminar. Then Thursday morning, I got a message saying that unless I opt out, that they're going to install in some kind of Chat GPT plugin
into my tax management protocol to like do letters and shit. Like I'm like, what the fuck? I don't need any of that. What the fuck is that? And I'm like, oh wait, it's coming for me.
Yep.
I mean, I'm in tax and accounting. I punch in literally numbers into Excel, and I punch in, you know, like tax returns and I'm like, wait, is this thing trying to get this thing? Not only it's like this thing's like infecting my system that I use, and I don't work for somebody. Like I have my own company, my own staff, my own clients. I work for myself. I'm uncancelable. Okay, it's not like I ever have to worry about. You know, I don't have a boss. My boss is me. And if my clients don't, you know, aren't happy with them, well, like I told one a day that I met with, I'm like, look, if you're not happy with me, I'm happy to get fired, and I will learn from this experience for the next one. Yeah, right. But it was weird to have my own system tell me that it's going to install unless I opt out. And so I contacted customer service on Friday, and I was like, what the hell is this? They're like, well, we're integrating ChatGPT into all of our financial modules. I'm like, what? And they're like, don't worry, it's not going to cost you anything extra. I'm like, I didn't care if it cost me anything extra. I don't want it in general. I mean, I don't know how my staff's going to use this shit. And, you know, what are they going to do? Like, are they going to say that they're going to use ChatGPT to do something quickly, and then I have to look at it because it's probably going to be jacked up. And meanwhile, they're still going to put 3 or 4 hours for a project, and then they're going to use some kind of ChatGPT. Like, there's no way for me to even manage and monitor this thing. Like, I could be paying staff people for 4 to 6 hours to do some crap that normally takes them 4 to 6 hours. That's taken them 4 to 6 hours for years. And then who knows? Maybe they're going to use this thing and try to submit the work. And then my workload goes up because I got to double check however shitty this is going to be. And the reason I say shitty is because I tested it out myself on Friday and I got gobbledygook.
Yep. I mean, there's a certain leader of a certain world organization who said not too long ago that, you know, AI is going to put most of the global population out of work within the next 10, 15 years. And that seems to be the time frame that they're working on. So, yeah, all this AI stuff is they're going to frame it to you as this really cool, innovative thing. And it's going to help so many people. In about another decade, you're going to realize what a terrible mistake we all made. But it's going to be too late by then.
Yeah. Andy, how you doing there, buddy?
I'm doing very well.
Glad to have you here. Yeah, and what's funny? Oh, go ahead.
I just got my new dog today.
Oh, I saw a picture. That's the new dog, huh?
Yep. Yeah,
awesome sauce. Aw. What's the puppy's name?
Well, he came from Tennessee, and when he was in Tennessee, his name was Jack. Then somewhere along the line, his name got changed to Chooch, which was kind of funny because, like, my mom used to call everybody a Chooch. But I think we're going to stick with Jack.
But the thing about the writers in the AI business is funny because I don't remember one story ever about where we live in harmony with AI.
Well, I heard you say this on a live stream the other day, and that got me thinking. I was like, Tom's right. And I started thinking, I'm like, no, there's got to be. Well, what about? No, they destroyed us. Well, what about? Yeah, no, they destroyed our future.
They turned us into batteries.
What about? Oh, that's right. That one I was like in a dream world, and I didn't know my real world wasn't real.
You know, you would think the people who have been responsible for writing countless stories over the last few decades about how robots and AI have led to the downfall of humanity.
That's my point.
They would probably say like, "Hey, maybe this is not a great idea we're doing right now."
My point exactly, Jacob. That's exactly what I'm getting to. Like, the only closest thing is like, what was it? Her. But I never saw the film. I don't know how it ends. Does she kill him? I don't know.
I don't remember.
Well, I mean,
I would say a relationship with an AI is not very healthy anyway. But yeah, you're about to say, Andy. Sorry.
The computer from Star Trek. That's about the only happy ending I ever saw.
Reader.
Wait a minute. That wasn't a happy ending. The guy had to basically blow himself up to be with the love of his life. And who knows where they went after that. How was that a happy
that
ending?
was the movie.
I meant just the computer, like when they would say, computer. And Shatner would just talk to the computer. I mean,
it wasn't necessarily an AI though. It was just a computer basically though. I don't remember. Did it ever take over like the ship or anything?
So what does that mean for my dating life? Am I going to have to start dating AIs?
Yes.
I got enough problems with the real world girls I got.
Shum has been a member for 21 months. Oh, go ahead, Jacob.
No, I was just going to say all aboard the train of transhumanism, baby.
Shum been here for 21 months and says Mexican Iron Man is now known as Paulin of YouTube.
Who the hell is Paul Lynde again?
You seriously don't know who Paul Lynde is?
Someone told me the other day, and I kind of remembered, but then I did.
He was on Hollywood Squares all the time and
Bewitched?
Match Game, and he was on Bewitched. He was the uncle on Bewitched. He did the voice of Templeton in Charlotte's Web movie.
He would talk like this.
He was obviously gay as hell.
Well, why would that have anything to do with me? Oh, I see what Shum's doing there.
I have no idea what Shum's doing.
Uh-huh.
I thought Paul Lynde was very hilarious.
Oh, so I'm funny.
Yeah, well, all
I
I
make
know
you
is
laugh, Tom?
he got in trouble a lot for drinking and
you?
driving. And one of the more famous jokes or one of the most famous stories of Paul Lynde driving and drunk was he crashed into some building. And when the cop come up to the side of his car, he said, "Yes, officer, I'll have a fry and a hamburger and a shake, please." And that's supposedly where Bill Murray stole the joke for Groundhog Day.
I'm funny. I make you laugh.
You do. Funny like a clown?
Funny like a Mexican clown?
No, what's so fucking funny about me, huh? You tell me.
Can you
It's
imagine
just,
us trying to do
it's just
that
the way that you talk. It's just funny, right?
Oh, so now I talk funny?
No. I mean, the way you told the story, it's funny.
No, how the fuck am I funny? One of the greatest scenes in movie history.
Just the moment of realization when Ray Liotta realizes he's been fucked with the whole time. It's like, you motherfucker.
Well, that's because he didn't know for sure if he was gonna kill him or not.
Yep.
And you know what's funnier about that story is that's based on an actual event that supposedly Pesci saw go down when he was younger. Yeah.
I believe it.
No.
Yeah. Well, do you don't know the history of Pesci, man? He used to be involved with a lot of that crap. He knows a lot of those guys. He actually helped get the Four Seasons started.
The Four Seasons Hotel?
No, the group, Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons.
Oh, get out of here.
No shit. He actually used to be a singer. He wanted to get out of where he was at because he didn't want to get sucked up into the mafia.
Wow.
Because he was almost predestined, because being an Italian American at that time, like, your choices were either showbiz or become...
That's like being Mexican. Like, your choices are eating tacos or eating tacos.
Well, you know.
I mean, there's burritos too. I mean,
well,
you ever had a good California burrito then?
Dude, I lived in California for like 1 billion years until I left.
Yep.
But thank you, Kenneth LaRock, for being a member for 22 months. We appreciate that. And then Gerald Armstrong says, I'm interested in seeing what our AI overlords can come up with for our entertainment. Me too. I am one here to welcome our AI overlords. I do not want them to kill me.
Yeah. I mean, hey, someone's going to have to entertain us when we're all in our pod eating bugs, right?
Well, we were talking about this earlier on VR stream, and I said that, you know, we've gotten to that point, we're almost there yet, where basically we can say, well, you didn't like the movie. You know, a lot of us have varied opinions on Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Mm-hmm. Well, in a few years from now, you'll be able to tell an AI to what you want the movie to be, and you can watch that version of the movie.
Yeah.
That's how it's not that far off, kids. Now, will they allow us to do that? That's going to be the question.
Probably not.
Pilgrim Media says AI, she has an affair with like 86,000 people. Oh, wow. That's not a good ending. I never watched that movie. It was just like, it didn't sound interesting to me. The only other one I can think of was Sim1 or Simone, however you call it, with the one with Al Pacino.
No, that was terrible.
That was terrible.
I thought the movie was all right, but...
Really?
Yeah, I didn't mind it. I haven't seen it since then, though, so I can't say it's held up. I haven't seen it in like, 10 years since it came out?
Yeah, that movie was trash.
It might be. You might be right. It might have.
I didn't like it at all.
If you both are saying that, you're probably right. I remember enjoying it at the time. But Pilgrim Media says American Iron Man. I have Taco Tuesday.
Boom, boom, chi.
Well, Iron Man is just Iron Man. There's only one Mexican Iron Man. I don't know who American Iron Man would be other than...
He would be. Pilgrim Media's American Iron Man.
Yeah,
well, we
I
already
personally
have one, though.
I personally prefer Churlo Batman, so, you know. No.
I'm your muted.
You gotta come up with something better than that. Like, I don't know. It's got to roll off the tongue better. It's got to fit with it.
I mean, I think with Guardians of the Galaxy, if it ends up flopping, I'm definitely should be in the running for my own movie.
Oh yeah, We need a Mexican Iron Man movie.
I mean, come on.
Wait, team up with Bat Tom.
Don't you guys already got that movie? It's called Blue Beetles, and it's coming out like in a couple months.
Oh shit,
dude! I people are like, look, are you excited about Blue Beetle? I'm like, I'm a DC guy, and I don't even know who the fuck this guy is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, who the f is Blue Beetle? What the fuck is that? I got this discussion with Paul. He's like, oh man, are you excited about Blue Beetle? I'm like, no. He's like, we's a Latino superhero. I'm like, dude, I'm into real superheroes like Green Lantern and shit. Okay, like real DC heroes.
Thank you for all those heading over here from VR's show. Thank
we
you
have
so
a
much.
VIP guest in the back, Tom.
We do. And VIP stands for
very important person.
Don't even do it, Tom. No, keep it $500.
I'm trying to show some respect to our esteemed guest, Mr. Fat Steven.
Action Com sends in $5. Says in the future, hackers will steal copies of celebrity AI entertainment requests. Imagine Favreau's collection of Filoni being humiliated over and over. That would be interesting.
Oh,
how you doing, Steven?
I've been pretty good. You just put Ahsoka constantly getting defeated by Darth Maul over and over again, and Filoni would have a breakdown.
Yeah. God forbid you mess with the Filoni character.
Yeah, his body pillow with mouth. Yeah.
And then Waltman 4 says, funny enough, Clownfish TV did a video where Neon had Chat GPT rewrite the sequel trilogy. It was better with some minor mishaps in dialogue. Wow. Well, it probably just borrowed from all the other Star Wars films. That's why. But yeah, so now we have a full panel here. How's everybody doing? We've got the VR raid going on. We got Frank Gorlock, I guess. We did.
Get it? Because Goldust looks like Adam Lorlock. That's why it's funny.
It was so hard finding the right picture of him.
Lord Almighty. So what is everybody up to tonight? What's on everybody's mind besides Guardians of the Galaxy?
I'm a little upset to hear the news of what happened to Salty Nerd Podcast Studio.
Yeah.
I just found out on that when I was listening to the end of that stream, and I am super upset.
Let me share the link for that. If you guys can help out.
I've been a friend of Matt Kadish's for a long time. Okay, a long time, Tom, you know.
Honestly, I think I've known him longer than I've known you.
Yeah, you have known him longer than me, but I've known him. Well, I mean, I've known him for a couple years, and I've watched all their content. I was one of their first. I'm not their biggest donor, I'm by far for sure, and I definitely was the Patreon. But I was there before they were, like all monetized and growing and stuff. And I'm just livid. They're angry. I'm angry for them. I feel awful, guys. If you don't know, Salty Nerd Podcast, we're generous enough to let a bunch of different YouTube channels use their studio somehow, some way. After all of that good energy, their place got broken into over the weekend. I don't know what night it happened or when it happened.
I think it happened last night, it sounds like, but we're not 100%. I'm not 100%.
Okay, well, I just found out about this a little while ago, thanks to you, and I hadn't checked it on my Twitter feed. And what was a beautiful studio that they built for themselves and worked themselves up to, and we're letting other people use, someone, somehow, some way, post all the Vegas meetup stuff, broke in. And obviously, it's somebody connected to somebody to somebody to somebody. And who knows who it was. But
my feeling on it is, look, there's a lot of people that probably watched FNT, and it probably wasn't too hard to figure out where they were at. So with that much exposure, there are dickholes out there in the world, unfortunately. And the saddest part is the cops aren't going to really be able to do much.
Nope.
Because it being under 50 grand, they pretty much told him that.
Right.
But they're doing well. They're doing pretty well so far. It's a great start. You guys have been amazing. I just shared the link, as you can see here on screen. Help out if you can. Get them back to where they were. And Matt has already said to me that he'll make sure that one of the first things they do is get a security system. But yeah, I mean,
they're kicking ass though, because like 20 minutes ago that was at 3,800. So yeah, this group of people, fellowship, whatever you want to call it, you guys nail it every time.
And these guys, this crew, these four people are great people and human beings, and yeah. So please, guys, if you can help them out. They've done so much for us in the community, and they've done so much for other people. And the thing about them is they're the type that they give everything and ask for nothing in terms of like, YouTube world. And
well, and a lot of people are asking, don't they have insurance? They're actually in the process of getting all that kind of stuff done yet. They actually hadn't opened their doors technically yet.
Right.
They've been working on this for a couple of years now, almost 2 years. And they've also, at least for the better part of over a year, and they just finally got this done. The FNT event was the first like real big, like outside of themselves podcast. They hadn't technically opened it up yet to the public. They had a lot of things they had to get through yet before they could get insurance. They had to get their security set up. They were in the process of doing all these things. And this just happened to happen at the worst freaking time. And unfortunately, they don't have any security cameras that caught anything that they know of offhand. They don't have the insurance to cover it yet. Like I said, the cops aren't going to really do anything to help. The only thing they can have as far as on their side to try and catch any of the thieves is to maybe hire a private dick. But that's still going to cost money too.
Well, there is another thing too. If they did take computers and equipment like that, and let's say they don't wipe the hard drives and just turn it on and log in, and let's say they just access anything that already has pre-saved passwords, they'll know right away if there's an access point coming from another location, and they'll still get a ding.
Perhaps, and I would hope that the guys were smart enough to write down any serial numbers of all the equipment, so they hopefully can draw some. But like again, you're going to probably have to get somebody involved who's like a private dick, because, like I said, the cops are not going to put any of their resources into investigating this.
It's just one argument I absolutely hate that people make. Talk about, don't you guys have insurance? Do you guys understand what a pain in the ass it is to try to get any money whatsoever from any insurance company ever?
Yeah, even if they did, yeah.
Yeah, they hate.
Well, the problem, and as someone who all my clients are business owners, what happens is that, and this is the case with these guys, it's like it's a new location, you start up, you actually can't get all the insurance you need until everything's fully built, documented, valued,
and that's what Matt's in the
submitted. And so basically, in order to get the insurance you need, you've got to essentially finish the entire build out, then get that insurance for what's there. And like you said, this thing just got put together. It's almost like you're having a restaurant and you're not really open yet for business, but
and somebody come in and stole all your equipment, basically,
right
yeah.
before your real, official opening day and stuff. So,
well, welcome, Script Doctor. Thank you.
Hey, Hey, I do have a question though. When it comes to insurance, though, would they replace the full amount, or would it, even if they had it, or would it be the subpar amount aftermarket? Because
well,
like,
when
we got flooded, it was they gave us crap back. So.
Well, on this point, everything would have been new, and so it would have had would have been market value for new items.
Yeah. And we also have culture.
The bottom line is that we got to get these guys up and running again. Yeah. And so any help anybody can do would be greatly appreciated. And they didn't ask us to do this. And I'm just Tom asked me how I was, and I'm really mad and upset, and I'm upset with them.
I've been upset for them all day, man. The minute I heard this, look, as somebody who actually streamed from this location, Mikey.
So you're a suspect.
Yeah, he is a suspect.
His fingerprints will be on some of the.
He's hiding it in his hair.
Shifty as hell. I'll go ahead. Give him his moment.
I'm sorry. It's good. It's okay,
Culture. You're wasting time.
Come on, you can talk now.
Culture's address is 123 Fake Street, Springfield, Illinois.
Oh, and his number is 8675309.
Culture, finish your thought. You were going to say something important.
Okay.
Well, now he's being a prick.
You can.
I feel really bad for these great crew of people, because they did an awful lot. And if we can get them over their goal of $5,000 to replace this equipment, which we're really, really close, guys.
Yeah.
That's huge. It shows just how tight knit we are as a fellowship, and man, they did a lot for a lot of people.
In fact, we're just over $500 away from that. If we can do that before the end of the show, that'd be amazing.
It'd be incredible.
They got a lot of shows.
Let me go ahead and pin
that link up there. Yeah.
And Big Daddy's doing. I think he's sharing out the link as well. Probably. Yeah. Thank you so much.
If you can't donate to it, share out the link. That's the
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you, Stephen. Excellent point. Absolutely, because sharing it, you never know who's gonna catch it.
Right. Exactly. So yeah. let's move away from that for now and get to some other discussions of what we are here for. And that is not to talk about the news. Usually that tends to be the case. We just had a stream with Script Doctor over there at the Valiant Renegades show where we talked about AI and the writing. And I'm sure Culture's going to want to get into some of the newsier stuff on his show after this one tonight. So what's on anybody's mind that's not related to the news right now? That's what I want to ask.
Well, I just saw the MTV Movie Awards just gave Scream 6 Best Movie, so there's definitely an epidemic of profound mental retardation that's spreading across our country right now. So
I wish I could argue with that, but you're not wrong.
Well, when that
and I didn't even watch that piece of shit.
When that
I did
the best thing, and we got writers asking for more money.
Yeah,
I know.
Like, if you're a writer in Hollywood,
excluded on this.
See,
But
the thing is, you're blaming the writers when you have to blame the studio exec that hired them.
Oh, I believe me.
There's a lot more that goes into it than just the writers. And like I pointed out too, a lot of times the writers are just, especially in these franchise things, they're usually adhering to the studio,
It's
a
an assignment
producer,
job. Yeah.
you know, a bunch of other people. So it's like, yeah, how can we make this fit into what we want to do, basically?
Well, the first hint literally would be, if the script is written in crayon, send it back.
What is this written in crayon stuff? Like, it
I
doesn't
don't
matter
know.
what the tool is. It matters on like who's handling it. I could write a script in crayon and it'd be.
I don't know.
amazing.
I
It
just
has
like
nothing
using
to do with it
crayons
being in
'cause-
I
crayon.
know. He's just trying to, I know it's just a joke.
Steven came up with this joke last week, and he's been
I
working
know. I'm a
it.
one-trick pony. I'm so
Come up
sorry.
with a new one, Steven.
Okay,
It's
fine,
the
one of
jokes
those.
worked for like the last 6 days. I don't know what the problem
No,
is.
all seriousness though, like script's right. I mean, George Lucas wrote these Star Wars films on a notepad
with a pencil.
Is that, yeah,
Pencil.
I mean,
Okay, I'll use pencil next time. I apologize.
No, what?
Take my crayon.
I mean, I guess the bigger insult would be: are they actually using words?
Are they actually reading the script? Do they have to read the script? Usually, that's what they do before they give a sign off, right? They at least have to have some type of understanding before just going okay, right? It's not like a cartoon, like where they're just rubber stamping it and moving on.
Well, no matter how good the script is, you have to worry about a John Peters putting in a giant spider. So
yeah.
Whoa.
Listen,
That's what I meant
you've
by
also got
producers and
Victoria
outside
Alonso
forces.
or Kathleen Kennedy wanting to change stuff during production because they have that power to do so. Yeah, you've got there's a lot of things going on. I mean, the sad truth is that the vast majority of screenwriters are bad. 10% of them are probably great. You probably don't know who they are. And that 10% does rotate and change from time to time because studios have their short list. But the fact of the matter is that 90% of those ones that are bad eventually leave and they're replaced by another set of 90% that are bad. The initial filter at the time was the wise studio executive that's like, oh, I see the potential in this writer. They can make me and this studio a lot of money. We're going to hire them. That philosophy has been mostly abandoned because of third-party investment companies saying, we want ESG and DEI and all these types of things. And when it's easy money that doesn't have anything to do with the audience, they're thinking, oh, they're going to double their profit. When in actuality, they end up losing the amount of money they could have made had they hired a good writer. And the money that they get paid to offset that doesn't actually really amount to a hill of beans in comparison.
So by the time it actually gets, let's say, an okay, it can still be evolutionized throughout the whole production by anyone's choice, depending on how much money is being offered or what they want changed. So it's never going to be the original what you first get.
Not always. Rarely is that really the case, unless it's like a writer-director, like James Gunn. Most likely, 99% of what he wrote initially will make it to the final cut because he had that much power when it came to Guardians of the Galaxy. He might very well have that much power over at DC with Warner Brothers. We don't know the details yet, but he is one of the few people that has that level of control. J. Michael Straczynski had that level of control on Babylon 5 for his series. It all depends on what you negotiate and how faithful you are and how good you are with what you plan to do. It's difficult.
The earnings call this week, supposedly, I think Zaslav said that the first draft is actually written up for his Superman movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's already on it.
Scripts, how many writers do you think are out there that purposely avoid certain studios because they know whatever they create is going to be twisted and messed up? It seems to me like from Marvel's slate where they just keep hiring Rick and Morty writers, so they are just hiring anybody that will put anything down on a piece of paper that they tell them to put down.
Well, it all comes down to the fact that for assignment writing, a lot of writers are, especially the experienced ones, are kind of just avoiding it because they don't care anymore. So assignment writing is anything with an existing IP. So if you want to do a DC film or a Marvel film or a Star Wars film or Star Trek, those are most likely going to be assignment writing stuff. Studios are going to say, hey, we want to do a Star Trek movie. These are the parameters. Give us your pitch. If you have the best pitch, we'll hire you. We'll negotiate deals, blah, 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 that so forth. When it comes to original IP, writers will go anywhere that's willing to read it and buy it. And the odds of them being manipulated as heavily are pretty much pretty high because it's an untested IP, so they'll most likely leave it alone, and only things that they think will not resonate proper with a potential audience through distribution will be addressed. But the smarter writers can work those notes in to make it not detrimental to the project. Or they can also work those or counter those notes with regards to like playing around with finances and saying like, oh yeah, we can do that, but it's going to cost like 2 or 3 times more than what normally be, and maybe they just pull back the note, what have you. Either way, there are more clever people out there that can get around those types of things, but at the same time, you kind of want to make sure you have a good team. So if you're a screenwriter, you want to make sure you find a good director that's in line with the vision of what's going on with the story, that they can beef it up from their own take narratively. Same thing with actors and talent. It is a very collaborative art that does stem from the writer's initial idea. But for assignment stuff is really, the best writers kind of try to avoid the assignment stuff because they know they're not going to be able to do what's necessary for that IP because the property is owned by somebody else.
Is there a chance that original IP might overtake what you were over assignment IP, or is it pretty much just however it comes and however it's accepted?
Only once an original IP sets a trend and becomes a trailblazer, it no longer becomes original, in which case the studios, if they want to invest in it and they don't want to bring the original writer in, and they manage to trick the original writer into selling all of their rights to that IP to the studio, then it becomes an assignment gig again. So it's all an eventuality at this point.
So it goes from, like, say, a piece of paper, then once all the rights are sold over, it turns into silly putty to do with whatever they want with.
If the screenwriter is foolish enough to sell the rights to him, yeah. Like ideally, you want to, any sort of deals, you want to sell the script, but you want to license the rights of it as a potential IP, so that you retain ownership of it, and you give a really good deal to the studio where they can license it for very cheap, but you still get your percentage, you still get your first option to write and rewrite and so forth. It's all about clever negotiations, and it's not usually done intelligently because it's more so about just trying to get the sale and take your money and run in some parts of the industry, as opposed to realizing that this has a potential to really take off and do your own thing. Not enough writers have started their own type of business. I know Mikey has been helping me avoid some of those pitfalls, and I greatly appreciate that. But yeah, there's other avenues that writers have to do to basically give themselves the power that they need in the negotiating room. Mm-hmm. And it's not going to happen when you have basically a sort of safety net when it comes to IP assignment writing. So you can be a terrible writer, but if you have the pitch that's right in line with what the studios want, they'll hire you most likely. Even if you can't do it properly, they'll get enough people around you that will, toe the line and make sure it works. And that's how we've had Marvel treated in the last 6 years.
Yeah. Let's step away from that subject for just a moment here. Juan Wong, if I'm saying that wrong, I apologize.
Jun Wong.
It's Jin Wong.
Is it Jun Wong?
It's Jin Wong. He does art for me.
Okay, bougie mofo.
By the way, the fundraiser just achieved its goal plus.
Nice. Okay, hang on. Let me show that off, because we might actually have
is that tequila
in here. It's Patron.
Patron, baby.
We just had.
And boom, baby. Excellent. You guys are awesome. That is amazing. Amazing. Between Nike and Brian Newcomer, you guys helped put it over the edge. Awesome, guys. Look at that. That is awesome.
Roger Haynes, Darian Murphy.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. That is excellent. I'm sure that the boys over at the Salty Nerd will appreciate that, but hell, keep it coming. This way we can
make sure they get a really good security system.
Yeah.
Anyway, June Wong says, I would like to pitch the MexCU, the Mexican Cinematic Universe. Parody of superheroes played completely straight, but all characters, male or female, have mustaches and wear sombreros. Marachi
Do we have to give
original
George
soundtrack.
Lopez a job too?
No. Keep his ass out of this.
Script I did it.
I would like to endorse Mr. Wong's suggestion. Thank you.
What is Cheech up to? He can be our Samuel Jackson.
Can I ask a question? This is maybe gonna sound kind of silly, but okay. Everyone knows here about webtoons, right? Is there a way for, let's say, people that do have the original IP maybe to produce like their stuff through like a webtoons format to see whether or not an audience will actually take from it and then go from there, whether it becomes a media, whether in book, comic, graphic novel, film, short series? Is that even maybe a route for people to think looking at?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's something that, I mean, I've even participating in those things with other people and colleagues that hopefully will be announced in the next year or so.
Cool.
But yeah, you just put it out there and see if that generates an audience. And that's how you kind of make yourself valuable and get interested parties with big bank accounts to invest in you. There's nothing wrong with that. Go for it. I'm all for it.
Yeah, because I was watching a video, I think it was with Clownfish, and they said they were saying promoting the same thing. Like webtoon is actually an opportunity. So I'm wondering if writers that don't want to deal with all the crap, and they have these IPs and stories, should just go through something so simple as that. It might sound cartoony, but you never know.
It's possible. It's also quite expensive too, and that's the other part. Like, not every writer has the disposable income to invest in such things. So it's a touch and go type of aspect. But again, like right now with the strike, the writer can work for any company that's not on the struck list. So if it's not one of the major studios that's on the struck list, the writer is perfectly fine under the union to work for them. If there's an independent production that's not associated with any of those studios, they can write and sell them a script, and it's perfectly fine. You just have to double check with your WGA rep or your potential WGA rep if you are pursuing such an option. But most of the time, from what I've heard over the last 4 days, there hasn't been any conflict of interest when they're getting work that's not part of the major studio system or any of the strong companies listed.
And of course, I'm using webtoon as just an example. There's probably some type of medium out there that you don't have to worry about your rights being sold over or them owning everything. Pretty much just getting a way to get your content out there if you can't even do an Indiegogo or have that set up to that length yet.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, cool.
And then Shanatsky's in the house, and he says, what about non-union writers? What are the expectations? I got stuff that finished, ready for production. See plenty of info about writers in UK.
Well, you risk being branded as Scab or FICOR if you're on union, because that will affect future potential jobs. If it's done and sold prior to the strike, you're fine. You just can't work on any revisions or rewrites. If you're trying to make the deal during the strike, and it's part of the struck companies, you're going to be in a bunch of trouble. But if you sell it to, say, something in Canada or the United Kingdom or France or what have you, you should be okay, because they're not of those unions, nor are they part of those struck companies. The other part too is that even for UK writers and international writers, if they come overseas to work for studio films after the strike, if they want to continue working, they're not going to be able to be protected under the WGA rules. And on top of that, studios might end up being fined or face some sort of disciplinary action from the union for working with those writers as well. So it's not to their interest either. These are rules that initially were just soft and in writing back in the 07-08 stuff right now. But currently what I've been hearing is that they are going to hit these hot and mean this quarter, because they don't want to have, they're not going to say the name essentially, but they don't want to have people like Alex Kurtzman getting back in. And that's what happened. He scabbed during the 07-08 strike. Rumors are he's kind of scabbing right now. And he's not helped the industry in any way, shape, or form.
Well, what if you just want to be a menace to society and don't mind being a scab?
Well, you'll never work again afterwards unless it's independent. And if you're happy with that, go all the power to you. Absolutely.
I say we just throw them down in the basement, and those types of writers or whoever Kurtzmans we got, and just have a fight club, and whoever wins gets some type of episode for Teletubbies. Just leave it at that.
I'm down for that.
Well, speaking of writers, we have another writer here who might be able to chime in a little bit on this, but I want to actually ask him a few other things first. But welcome, Matthew Kadish. How are you doing?
Hey guys, I've been better, but the support that everyone's been showing us today has been so encouraging. We really appreciate it. We just hit our goal
Yes, you did.
For our initial fundraising round. We just found out that our mobile podcasting kit, which was worth about $2,500, was also stolen. So we have to go and amend the police report and all that stuff tomorrow.
Jeez.
All that good stuff. But
Well,
man, it's been such
we've been telling people to keep it coming here because, again, there you go. So there's another good reason why we should. But yeah, we were happy to see the response this has gotten, unfortunately, for the reasons. So yeah, what can you tell us up front about? I mean, we kind of told everybody the basics, but anything else you want to tell us right now that you can add to the whole situation? What happened? What's going to happen? Anything else that you may want us to know?
So for those of you who don't know, we at the beginning of this year, the Salty Nerd podcast, we all kind of pulled our money together and opened up our own podcasting studio here in Las Vegas, Nevada. And it was kind of like an extension of what we'd been doing for the past 3 years. We really wanted to do something professional, but we also wanted to open it up for visiting creators here in Las Vegas. So if people were coming into town, they wouldn't have to lug in their equipment. They could just come in here, do live streaming, do YouTube recording, do podcasting, whatever they wanted to do. Like we'd be like their spot to do it. And this last week for CinemaCon and all that stuff, we had our kind of first test run. We're not technically open for business, but we opened the doors for all the people who were coming into town for Nerdrotics Meetup, as well as for CinemaCon and all that stuff. And we didn't charge anybody anything. We just said like, hey, come in, use our facilities. And for us, it was kind of like a test run to see like, okay, what do people need the studio for? Because even though we'd bought a bunch of equipment and we'd had like this 5-figure investment kind of up front, we weren't done buying equipment. And that's one of the reasons why we didn't have business owners insurance quite yet, because we were trying to save some money until like we opened up the doors. We had liability insurance, but we didn't have like business owners insurance, which covers like theft and the equipment and stuff like that. So we were kind of like holding off on that. And we're in a pretty safe part of town. Like we didn't really think that, we were in any danger of getting broken into, but like, we have security guards here on the property that do their rotation and stuff like that. They're patrolling. And in our building, like we have like pretty secure doors and things of that nature. And it turns out that late last night, someone broke into the building, and it was kind of funny because the more we learned about it, it was a lot like the White House plumbers, that show on HBO, where the people who tried to do the Watergate scandal failed a couple times breaking in. So it looked like the people who were breaking into this building tried a couple different times to break through the door, and eventually they just had to like throw a rock through the glass on the door in order to get in. So by the time that happened, I think that they thought that they were in danger of being caught. And so they kind of rushed down right to our studio. We think that we were specifically targeted, broke into our studio, ran in here, and basically they didn't wipe us out, thank God, but they got 3 cameras. They got 2 of our very expensive mics. They took our Rodecaster Pro audio mixer. They stole a computer. They stole our mobile podcasting kit with a bunch of video switching and microphones and another Rodecaster in it.
Now I'm hoping you have like the serial numbers and all that kind of info saved somewhere for all this stuff.
We have some of that stuff, but we don't have it for everything that was taken.
Mm-hmm.
But basically,
have you alerted like all the pawn shops and stuff in town or anything like that, or
not yet? Oh,
okay, sorry, I was just curious.
Yeah, they could have taken a lot more, but they didn't. So basically, they took only the things that you really need to record a video podcast with, So it was obvious to us that someone had been in our studio, seen what type of equipment we had, and decided, okay, this is what we want to get. And so basically, I was here yesterday afternoon doing our Salty Saturday live stream. And then I left here around 12:30, 1 o'clock to go and meet up with my fiance, take her out to brunch. And then I returned at 10 a.m. this morning. And when I opened the door to our studio, the front of the studio looked perfectly fine. But when I opened the door, I noticed that the door leading to the hallway was ajar. And at first I thought that one of my co-hosts, either Alex or Matt Vader, was here, and they had just left it open to go down to the bathroom. But then I turned and I saw that the door to the studio was open. and there was all types of stuff strewn about. Monitors out here were turned over. Vader's computer was missing, and I went into the studio and I saw that it had been ransacked, and 3 of the cameras had been missing, and basically like all the wires had been like pulled out of stuff. And instantly I was like, oh crap, we got hit. And so I texted the guys, I let them know, and then I called the police, and I was on hold with the police for like over an hour waiting for them to pick up the phone. And when they did pick up the phone, about a minute or two, 5 minutes later, the police showed up and they started, taking our statements and filing a police report. They asked for a list of the equipment that had been taken, how much the equipment was valued at. And we were like, they left, the people who had broken in had left behind some evidence that we pointed out to them. And also they had touched our podcasting table and left fingerprints on it, stuff that was very noticeable. And we pointed that out to the cops, and they were like, well, for anything under $50,000, it's not worth us bringing like the specialist out here to dust for prints or like do any forensics or anything like that. And so we were like, God damn it. We had a video camera in the studio, surveillance camera, but the battery had died, and we hadn't known about it. And so like it didn't catch any footage. But there are cameras on the property at different areas of the business, which we think might have caught a glimpse of these guys. And we're going to talk to the owners tomorrow when they show up for work to see if we can get that stuff. But basically, from 10 a.m. on today, it's been like a kick to the nuts, a punch to the gut. We just felt so violated, and we were like really super depressed. And I came in here to do some work today, and I was just like, man, I can't even focus because
Can I ask a question quickly?
Yeah.
A computer was taken, right? Laptop or tower?
It was a desktop. It was an editing computer.
Do you know if you had left on a Find My device or any type of thing on that computer? So if it's turned on or they activate it, it would ping you guys?
No, we don't have that. And we think that basically they're going to just factory reset it and use it. Like everything that was stolen, it wasn't stolen to be sold. It was stolen to be used. So that's the thing that we've been looking at is like we have a suspect. We think we know who might be responsible for it.
Oh, interesting.
But we don't have any proof. And
I would also keep an eye out on things like Kijiji, if that's still around, or Craigslist, or even eBay, and there's stuff for current prices that could match your tower, because you'll know what it is. They'd have to change the casings, and no thief is that smart.
Yeah, we've been looking at it. But what was interesting about the computer is that we had just bought a very high-end studio computer for the studio to make sure that all the live streaming, everything that we do from the studio is like top notch. And the guys who broke in, we think that there were 2 of them, left that behind and stole Matt Vader's computer, which was the only one that was easily accessible. All the other stuff is kind of like under our desks. And so we believe that they were looking for stuff that was kind of like opportunistic. Yeah, it was very much a smash and grab.
Yeah.
But they knew exactly what they wanted to grab. And so we think that they had been in the studio previously and knew exactly what to take.
Yeah, because it's weird because they left some of the monitors. I went through the pictures. It's like you took the computers, but
they actually left. They left all the monitors. They left our 65-inch TV, but they took our mobile monitors. So we had these little kind of monitors that you could kind of pick up like an iPad.
Yeah, like the USB-C ones, right, where you just plug in and go.
Yeah, sort of. So we had 2 of those at our engineering station in the studio, and those were taken because they were easy to be taken. Right, all this stuff was just targets of opportunity. They took the easiest stuff to get to. We were actually lucky that they left 2 of our cameras behind, because I think that they took the camera that was on the tripod and the tripod along with it, but then 2 other cameras they had to unscrew, and we think that they were in a rush to get out of here because they made so much noise breaking in. So luckily they didn't get all 5 of our Sony cameras, but they did get 3 of them. So it was a rough day. To say the least.
That Alex's ass in the background there?
Alex,
Alex is installing security cameras.
That's salty nerd's ass.
Can I give a suggestion too? And I don't want to be a dick or anything, but look into Bluetooth trackers and put them in each one of your devices, especially your towers, and then have it synced. At least when you have like some type of geo trackers, like they use for kids, put it in your hardware. So if there's ever a break-in again, they're gonna have to go look for that, and that means they have to unscrew the towers, take off the panels, and look for that rattling thing, or even just like super glue it in. That way, at least you might get something next time, if there is a next time.
Yeah, we expect that there might be a next time, just because even though we're not open for business right now, we're going to eventually be advertising our services and putting our address out there and stuff like that. And before, we didn't really think much about security because we felt pretty secure here. We had doors that locked, we had a security camera. But now we're doubling down. We're going to be reinforcing the doors. We're going to be adding the locks. We're going
Honestly,
to
I don't even really want you to broadcast what you're going to be doing. I don't want them to know. Especially, no, I'm serious. Just in case anybody is listening right now that could be responsible for it. I'm not saying whatever, but I don't want people to know what precautions you're taking. I don't want to know who your suspect is out live on this. I don't want to know any of that. I don't want them to know, because then it just gives them an advantage. But I know you're going to take the precautions you need to now, Matt, at least.
I mean, the biggest issue was our insurance. So in order to rent this space and stuff like that, we had to buy renter's insurance, which is basically liability insurance. And that wasn't too expensive. It's like $50 a month. But we were holding off on the business owner's insurance, which covers theft and stuff like that, until we were open. And so we don't technically have the safety net to replace the equipment. And it was pretty, close to $8,000 worth of equipment was stolen. So the GoFundMe that we put up, it was kind of funny because I put the tweet out today about the robbery, and instantly people were like, where can we send money? And we were like, oh crap, we didn't even think about that. And so we set up the GoFundMe really quickly, and everyone has just been so supportive and generous, not only with their outpouring support, but with their money. We honestly don't know how to thank people for doing this. We've already hit the goal that we set for $5,000.
Oh yeah,
hopefully. I think the best way you can thank us is just make sure that you do your best and make sure it doesn't happen again. Obviously, I mean, without being a duh. But no, just you've already done everything you can, and Culture said it best earlier, and a few of us did on Valiant stream too, is about how you guys have opened this up to the community. You had the FNT event there. Yeah. This is going to be something that I remember when you first called me and talked to me about this, Matt, I loved the idea because I was like, yeah, it's a great idea, especially for those who are traveling through. It opens it up. You guys can hopefully make some money off it when bringing other, clients in and other things like that. I thought it was a brilliant idea when you first brought it up to me, and it's just sad to see you guys get this far, work so fucking hard, because I know you guys have been doing this for years. I said this at the top of the show. To go get this close to being able to open up your doors officially and then have this shit happen to you.
Yeah, we really wanted to be in business by the summer, basically open to the public. And this really set us back because now we have to order new equipment. We have to not only order it, but we have to get it set up and make sure everything's working correctly. And it's been a headache and a half today. But we really appreciate everyone, especially you guys, having us on the stream, shouting it out. Tom, you were our first donator on the GoFundMe, so that meant a lot to see you on there.
Well, and I said it earlier on Valiant stream. I said when I went out to Vegas, I was a lost fucking puppy, and you took me in. You showed me the town. You made me want to move there. Things like this now make me leery, unfortunately. But no, that's exactly what I said earlier. Mike and Script are my witnesses. But Andy had to check out. He's got new puppies, so he had to deal with new puppy business. So check out Andy Masterson's channel. He does all kinds of great stuff. In fact, he dropped a video, I believe, about the Punisher. What are those hot figures or whatever you call them? I think it is. I think it's a hot toy. From earlier. But check that out. But yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Matt, and continue what you were saying. I just wanted to give Andy a proper shout out there.
I was going to say, don't be worried about Vegas. Vegas is actually a pretty safe town. We were specifically targeted. If when you should have seen it this morning, where basically Alex Vader and I were playing CSI, and we were kind of going through the building, and we realized that the people who broke into the back door, they went to the back so they wouldn't be seen in the front. They tried to avoid all the security cameras. they tried multiple times to break in through the back door, and eventually they originally tried to pry the door open and break the lock, but eventually they just ended up breaking the glass, and the glass is not easily broken. Like, it took them a couple tries to do it.
It looked like pretty thick glass, yeah.
It was. In fact, the guys who came in to repair the doors, we asked them, it's like, is this glass easy to break? And they're like, no. Whoever did this like really tried hard to get in.
So there was major intent in that one.
Well, that's what he was saying,
intent.
yeah.
And then, like, after they got in here, they did not, like, we have like a medical service business in here that has a lot of expensive medical equipment in it. They went right past that. They basically beelined right to our studio and use a crowbar to force the door open and break in. And so, like, they knew exactly where they were going and what they wanted to take, because like we said, like, if this had been something where, like, they were just stealing stuff to sell, they could have taken all the monitors very easily. They could have taken all of our PCs. They could have taken our TVs, all this stuff. Like, they could have taken our refrigerator. Like, they had the time to do this stuff. But we think that they knew exactly what it was they wanted. We believe that there may be, like, they stole stuff to do, like, musical recordings or something like that, because they only took things that they would use to record things. And we believe there were two individuals who broke in, and basically they had a very specific idea of what they wanted to take, which means that they had to have at some point either been in the studio or seen the inside of the studio in some way, shape, or form.
Scouted it out.
Yeah, and we also believe that their car was not very big, which is why they left a lot of the big stuff
Bigger
behind.
stuff, yep.
Yeah,
So, yeah, because I had originally, until I knew this, Matt, I was like speculating, well, maybe somebody being, you did the FNT thing recently, like, that's big exposure for the studio, and everybody knows it's in Vegas. I mean, I was curious how hard it would be to figure it out, but it makes more sense being more of an inside job kind of thing anyway. But again, I don't want too many details about it because I don't want anything out there. But like,
we should reach out to James Mangold and get him to retweet this.
No shit. Maybe it was James Mangold.
Yeah, he was our main suspect.
Wait a minute.
Did they leave a
Wait a minute.
Is it a coincidence that Corky got murdered right before we got broken into? I don't know.
I remember you posted that last week.
Yeah.
That's not a coincidence.
That's not a coincidence. Mangold, he's behind it all.
There are no coincidences.
Yeah. Well, the biggest thing I want to say is that I feel that, I got to know you over the phone in a real personal, direct way. I won't go into the details on this stream, but, Matt, I've clicked with you since minute one that I met you, and I love you. I think you're great. I think you're a good guy. I think the whole crew is amazing. And I was one of your first Patreon signups. I watched you guys grow from before monetization to monetization, and then to the 10,000. I was really proud. I mean, I was so proud of you guys. I mean, I can only imagine what a huge high that was for you guys, and to have this happen. All my clients are business owners around the country. This is a gut punch. When I found out, I mean, Tom asked me at the top of the show, how am I feeling? I'm like, I feel like crap. Not for me, but it's for you. And as a fan of yours and you guys, I just hope you can keep your chins up. I'm super fired up to see the support that you guys have gotten in one day. I hope it continues. And I have had other clients that similar stuff has happened to, and it's like you said, you feel violated. You feel, and the worst part is that you open your home and your heart to so many people that are coming from all over the place, and for this to happen is a gut punch. But in a weird twisted way, it's better it happens now than before we're really big over at the Salty Nerd podcast.
Yeah, it was a hard learned lesson, and it's kind of funny because we were riding high right before this,
yes,
and this kind of knocked us down a bit. But it was kind of funny seeing how each of us responded to things. Like Matt Vader, you would think that he'd like go super saiyan, he'd like just like go into a rage, but he was actually the most level-headed of all of us, just saying like, relax guys, like things are going to be fine. Don't get too bent out of shape over this. And then Jude, her only concern was, did they steal the booze that we had?
That's a good concern. That's a real good concern.
Yeah, and we were like, no, they left the booze behind. She's like, oh, good.
Well, and I'll say this, man. I'm sure, like you said, you feel violated. I can't imagine how it feels. Like, I remember only one time in my entire life, even through the business I owned and all the stuff I worked for, where I was a manager and all that kind of stuff. Did I ever have to face anything where there was like an actual theft like this? and that was in my own home when I was a kid, really young. My dad used to play pool, and somebody broke in and stole the money he had won that night. So obviously it was somebody who had known he had won it, whatever. But anyway, so that's the closest I've ever come to that. So I can imagine how you guys feel to a point, but I hope at the very least that this here on the screen helps you guys sleep a little better tonight at the very least, so that you don't have this big huge thing hanging over your head. I know it's a huge undertaking to try and have to redo all the things you guys just did, but hopefully, if anything, we can give you this solace here tonight.
Like everyone's been so wonderful, and like when you're starting a business and you're bootstrapping it and you're investing your own money and all your time and so much stuff, like when something like this happens, it can be really demoralizing. And the sheer outpouring of support that we've gotten today has just been absolutely incredible. And what's kind of ironic is that if the people who had come in and robbed us actually just wanted to record stuff, like we probably would have let them do it for free. Like they could have just come in anytime they wanted.
Promote our place. Exactly. Like that's the thing, is it's just and like we love creators. We want to help support creators, and so like we weren't charging anyone to come in and do this stuff just yet. And in fact, Culture, you had back-to-back live streams at our place, and it was a lot of fun. We loved having you guys here. And so like when something like this happens, we're just like, oh man, like we would have helped you out for free.
I was amazing because I was like, oh wow, this is a brilliant idea. You're getting a shakedown of all your new stuff. You're doing great work here. I was promoting the crap out of you guys, and then this happened today. I was like, wow. But look, I mean, there's no doubt you have a lot of backing from everybody in the fellowship, all of the folks here, and it's a super shame that somebody, again, they didn't just reach out to you, because I know you have such an open, wonderful heart that you'd have been like, no man, if you want to record here, we're still shaking this thing down. Come on in, do some stuff. I mean, I was heartbroken for you, but I'm happy. I mean, everybody, you can see the people coming together, Matt. I hope that helps just a little bit, and it doesn't take.
It really does.
Doesn't help. It probably doesn't help take the sting out of the violation that you all feel. But hey, at least I get to see Alex running around in the background. We get to see some Alex ass back there. So.
Yes, Alex.
So that's salty nerds.
Salty ass. Yes,
that's
salty ass.
Salty ass. Hey,
he's looking at us and waving. Hey,
he's busy installing.
I think he's one of the only ones I haven't had on yet. I don't know. I think we had him on the morning show, but
God, I love that guy.
Yeah, he works a lot, and part of trying to get this business going is so that him and Vader can quit their day jobs and do content creation full time. That's one of our first goals. But yeah, man, it's crazy. Like Alex was at church this morning, and Vader was out grocery shopping with his wife, and I had to text them. I was like, "Hey guys, we got broken into and robbed." And at first they thought I was messing with them. They're like
it ain't April 1st, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, no, like we actually got, and I started sending them the pictures that we posted on Twitter, and they were like, we're going to be right there. And so, yeah, like we had the police come, and we had to give our statements and stuff like that. And that was also equally disheartening, because not only did we have to wait over an hour on hold before they picked us up on the non-emergency line, but when the police got here, it just felt very unhelpful, they didn't seem interested in what happened. They just took our statements.
I didn't have much information going into this, and I just had what you had said going into it from that, the DM group. But yeah,
and it's a difference between the Las Vegas Metro Police and the town right next to Vegas called Henderson. The Henderson police are a lot more responsive, whereas Vegas Metro are just kind of like, yeah, whatever,
This doesn't happen on the Strip.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the Strip has its own police station, essentially, that their only job is to monitor the Strip.
Well, and I was told by multiple people when I was visiting out there, I think you said it among some other people, half the time the cops in Vegas are more worried about tourists than they are anything else, it seems like.
Yeah, the Strip is very safe. It's a very safe place to be. And out here, we're in a good area. We don't normally think that, something like this is going to happen. Which is why we believe that we were specifically targeted. Somebody saw something that they liked. We believe that the person responsible for this was actually in the studio and got to see all of our stuff set up. Again, we have no idea who actually did this, but we do have suspicions, which we passed on to the
Well, like I
police.
said, don't give us too much right now because
Yeah.
I don't want. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, man, Mikey, Culture, all you guys, thank you so much for just reaching out.
No problem, man.
I got texts and DMs from all of you guys, just checking in, making sure we were all okay, and it meant a lot. It meant a lot to us. It's been a hell of a day.
One thing I've noticed about this like fellowship community, whatever you want to call it, is we got each other's back, especially when it comes to injustices such as this. Like Yellow Flash said, I gave this a retweet. Sorry this happened, man. I hope you come back bigger and better, brother. Yeah. If anything, yeah, I hope so, because like I said, just between the donations alone, hopefully you guys can rebuild what you had there.
Jeez.
And continue on. And I hope by the end of the year, we're out there doing a stream ourselves. So
there you go.
Yeah, totally. So like, our margins are very thin right now because we invested a lot in equipment up front.
Right.
And so to have all this equipment stolen, right, like literally right before we're about to open for the public, it was the worst timing possible. And now we were like, oh my God, how are we going to replace this equipment? Because it was all very expensive. And you guys have really come through for us. We really appreciate that.
Yeah, I know it's going to take time and it's not going to heal all the wounds, but it's the least we can do right now. Plus just get the word out about it and continue to get the word out about it. I'm sure we'll talk about it on the morning show. So if you're not busy tomorrow, Matt, just let me know and I'll send you a link.
It'd be awesome.
We'll definitely touch on
totally.
it.
Would love to hang out with you guys.
Absolutely.
Play the morning show, man.
Yeah, please.
And Matt, thank you for everything you do for everyone else. And man, it's tough situation, and but we're gonna you're gonna rise out stronger from all of this. And as one of your channel, I like to say I'm not a YouTuber, but as one of your biggest fans, thank you for everything you guys do. And say hi to all the crew and tell them we're with them too.
We will. Definitely.
Yeah, and if you can stick around, feel free. If not, I understand you got a lot to deal with. Over there.
I have to install a bunch of new locks and cameras.
I kind of figured as much, so I just wanted to give you that chance to give you an out here. But again, if you guys haven't, either share the link out of the GoFundMe, or if you can even just help out a little bit. Every little bit helps. Here, the link is pinned to the chat. And so far we've managed to get it over the goal in the last hour, and it's almost to 5,700 now. So thank you so much, everybody out there, and thank you, Matt, for hopping in here and giving us basically an update on everything. And like we said, hopefully this helped.
It definitely helped out. Thank you guys so much for having me on, Tom. Appreciate all the support you guys. And I will talk to you guys soon.
Thanks, Matt.
Have a good night, man.
Take care, Matt.
Bye.
Take care.
Dude. Damn.
All right. And with that, we're going to be wrapping it up here pretty soon because Culture's got a show starting.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I do.
So what? Let's go for another 2 hours.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Let's make it 3. I'm kidding.
Well, tease us with what we're going to talk about over on your show, Culture. What's going on over there?
The Salty Nerd podcast studio got broken into. I think we talked about that. Probably going to talk about the very disappointing opening of a certain Marvel film.
Black Panther?
No. Okay. We might talk a little bit about crossing $500 million in the U.S. for a different film.
Mario?
And whatever Jacob is writing, because he always writes great stories. So I'm
kind of low on content now. I think they just put up my review for Guardians of the Galaxy that you can read at Bounty in the Comics right now. And then I don't know what I have on hold at the moment. So I'm kind of lacking on the story.
All right. Well, I'm sad. All right. And then, Fat Steven always brings me salacious subjects. And really, we have a wonderful group of humans that brings great content, including Mr. Tom Connors himself. And it's well past Mexican Iron Man's, bedtime.
It is getting late for Mikey. That's why we're getting close to wrapping up here.
He won't join us, of course.
But that does not mean you need to keep pushing for it, Culture.
No. But we have a special guest. We have some beauty representation showing up in the stream tonight. Lorena Creole is going to show up and join us this evening. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Oh, really? She's staying up late, huh?
She's staying up very late. very late.
You know, you could do culture. You could have a special Sunday culture review and bring Mike on for one of those, so he can actually not have.
This actually is a special Sunday culture review. Yeah, it's just called the Late Night Culture Show.
Well, since it's what time is it over there? 7:50 p.m. Where you're at?
Hey, would you stop telling everybody on Pacific time?
Maybe 8:50 or some shit like that. Either way, it's the culture after supper show.
You know what, Mike? Go find a window to jump out of.
Hey, you be nice to me. You know how emotionally fragile I am.
That was very nice.
You are kind of emotionally fragile.
I was nice to you on Friday night. Do I have to do it again?
Yeah, because I love you. And
He told you the Chinese suicide net yourself.
I'm your number one culture. I'm your number one Mexican fan, despite how much you fawn over Paulie.
Well, except for Paul. Yeah, Paulie's getting me healthy. What are you doing for me?
I'm keeping you on your toes. Do I or do I not on almost every 6-minute daily? Do I not offer you a new show idea to grow your channel?
You know what? You're right. You do. You always offer me a great show idea.
I mean, I think the last one that I did on Friday in your 6-minute daily or Thursday was the most brilliant one ever. Tom, did you hear my new idea for the culture show?
No, I don't think I did.
Not no nakedness. No.
Okay, so it's called Furry and Afraid. New live stream where Culture Casino is in the Antarctic in the dead of winter, fights a polar bear naked while he has a beefsteak in one hand and a knife in the other.
Script's not working. We got a writer, so
that's really expensive because we'll have to take the polar bear from the North Pole and put him into the Antarctic. I don't know if they can survive.
Okay, whatever.
I don't know. After seeing the response for Salty Nerd, I think this is in the bag.
I'm writing my.
I think a lot of people want to see this.
I wrote that script with ChatGPT, so don't blame me. I don't know what.
If not, okay. I got a budget solution.
What?
Mud wrestling a grizzly bear.
It has to be a shaved grizzly bear.
Okay.
Whoa.
Only one of the two opponents have to be covered in fur. And
no. Culture's going to be butt naked. That's why it's Furry and Afraid. Culture's naked, holding a chuck roast. Culture's got a chuck roast in one hand, a pocket knife in the other. He's butt naked, and there's a bear attacking.
Oh, let's not make him totally naked. Let's at least cover him in oregano so he's like spiced up for the bear. You know, we want to give a fair chance.
Well, Last Millennial says Tom and Script. Do you guys think Chris Pratt is the same character in all his movies besides Parks and Rec playing the stoic man? He does have a Chris Pratt kind of shtick, but
he wasn't very Chris Pratty in the Terminal List.
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say he has times where he can turn it off.
He can act. Yeah, I mean, unlike Chris Evans, who is Chris Evans and everything,
or Tom Hanks.
Okay. Tom Hanks has actually transformed himself. Like Chris Pratt in the Future War, he was quite different there.
Yeah. He's not as bad as like Ryan Reynolds.
He was totally different in the Terminal List. I didn't recognize him almost.
Or The Rock.
Okay, well, or Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel is Vin Diesel in every film. The Rock is The Rock in every film. So yeah, I mean, but Chris Pratt, I'm not sure you can do that. But thank you, Last Millennial.
And then he sends in another one that says, also, I don't think he was a good Mario. I agree with you there. That was a miscast.
But the movie was good.
The movie was fine.
His voice, a lot of the voice cast did not need to be those big names.
Exactly.
True.
Jack Black is the only one that
perfect.
made any fucking sense.
Well, it was because he delivered,
and maybe Anna Taylor-Joy because she didn't really do anything, or
but he delivered. He delivered his Jack Blackedness.
No, that's what I'm saying. Jack Black, actually, it's the least Jack Black kind of role. That's he knew what he was doing, but Jack Black's done plenty of voice work already.
That's true.
Compared to the rest of the cast, Anna Taylor-Joy is just basically playing a generic princess role.
I'm going to quell all of this. I'm going to quell it all and just say, at least it wasn't Josh Gad.
Who's that?
Don't even bring that up, man. Jesus. Last Millennial says, yeah, maybe I'm just a hater. I see him too much. Well, there is a bit. There could be an argument made that he is overused,
a bit overexposed,
but his movies continue to make money.
Yep.
So until they stop, I don't think he's going anywhere. I mean, he's got two of the biggest films of the year so far.
I feel like he's basically where The Rock was maybe about like 6 years ago. somewhere around
I'd
that
actually
time.
argue he's surpassed The Rock already, because that's the thing is The Rock has never had a career where he can sell a movie by himself. His biggest hits have always been ensemble casts.
I gotta go. So
all right, love you.
We'll be
Bye.
over there in a few minutes. Culture.
Sure, bye.
Love you. And then this
I
is
love
for
it
him,
more.
I think. Abdulio says Head and Shoulders Sasquatch versus Cocaine Bear. Okay. As long as Culture is the Head and Shoulders Sasquatch.
Can we just get cocaine kaijus and get it over with? Let's see Godzilla and another kaiju just get coked out. And just
I'd rather us go down by kaiju fight than whatever AI monstrosity we're building right now for the next.
They
10
just
years.
need to make sure that if they make Cocaine Bear 2, they give Script Doctor and I the script.
But I don't understand. Wouldn't we stand a better chance against the AI? Don't we just need to unplug the power and we're good?
Unplug
That's
the
not how it
power, or
always
basically
works.
feed it enough information where it doesn't have any memory storage to operate.
One thing I've always learned from those stories is AI figures out a way around that. They have created their own power source. In the third act, we find that out.
Well, I think it's an amazing idea that we're creating central bank digital currencies and AI simultaneously. That won't totally bite us in the ass.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it's like, where's all the money? It's gone.
Yeah.
It never existed in the first place. Haha.
Yep. I hope you guys like eating rats.
What?
It was all an illusion, Jim.
No, people will be stealing like a couple of cows here and there, maybe a bull.
Yeah, we'll be trading into livestock again.
Yeah.
We're gonna go back to bartering.
3 chickens and a mule for a horse. Oh Lord. I love you guys. I love the panel. I love Tree. I love Lamp.
I like Stump.
Rat burgers are great. Ask the Militia Man. No shit. That's right over at. I want to thank everybody again for making this a very successful show. And thank you, Script Doctor. I know you don't often get a chance to hop in on Sunday night, so I appreciate it.
Happy to be here.
We got Last Millennial again. Thank you so much. Says, are we talking about F forecasting tomorrow? Adam Driver, Margot Robbie all sound like a recipe for failure already.
Oh, you mean box office poison, Margot Robbie?
Whoa. I like
Preventing treasonous acts. Oh.
She had 2 movies last year that lost $100 million each.
Hey, don't. But she's still hot.
She was the star in I, Tonya, yet it was her co-star that took all the accolades and awards. That was Allison Janney.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, Margot Robbie, fairly beautiful, but she doesn't have the it factor that, as we mentioned on Valiant Stream, that Jenna Ortega has.
No.
We'll have to see how Barbie rolls.
That's true.
But
It'll be another $100 million disaster.
Could
be. I have a feeling that's going to surprise everybody.
I think Barbie's a debatable thing right now because it is a big franchise, just like you can look at Mario.
Well, and the response, like just the response alone, like when the ladies were talking about on like Toxic Femme, they know the audience they're going after. If we had gotten like a He-Man or a Ninja Turtles or a Transformer movie that looked like the care they're putting into that Barbie film, we'd be on cloud 9 about it. We'd be talking like it's kind of the closest thing we've had to this point is probably Bumblebee. Where we actually had a movie that looked like the toys in the cartoon.
I think people will show up for Ryan Gosling. He might end up stealing the show in Barbie.
I think you're right, because every trailer he's been good at it. But you know, I'm not going to argue on the whole Margot Robbie thing because you're not wrong. She doesn't sell a movie on her own. But if you put her in roles like perhaps Barbie and or you know, in some cases Harley Quinn, I thought she did okay. Was she great? No, but we'll see.
Was she hot? Yes.
She's not. I wouldn't count her out yet.
You know, maybe I need to examine why I'm so. And then now I think I'm doing a self-examination. She is probably a composite of 3 or 4 of my ex-girlfriends.
No, but I can't argue with these guys that in a few years, what's her face who plays Wednesday will be way ahead of her in the game by the time she reaches her age. If anything, she's probably the next it girl. I just forgot her name, but I know you guys just mentioned it.
Jenna Ortega will probably be the next it girl. She's tiny enough to look young for a few extra years more than other women her age. So she's got that advantage.
And she looks like she's 12.
She does.
And it doesn't matter what she's in, especially if it's something that I bash that she's in. She's got some stands.
She also cares about the source material, and that's always good to look upon in any type of actor or actress.
Hearing her say that about Wednesday, even though I haven't watched the show yet, and I probably
should.
will feel the same way. I'll tell you, Steven, I'm
Yeah.
an old school Addams Family
I
fan.
know.
I'll probably feel the same way Script Doctor did walking out of it. I'll be like, this is okay, but the second season's going to suffer from all the problems that are set up with this. I can see it. Because the heart of this show should have been one of two things, and we wrote probably a better version of what this show could have been almost a year ago when this first was pitched. Between the idea of either having her go to a regular high school or college would be infinitely more. There's a ton more shit you could mine there, or our other thing was you have Pugsley getting married and basically turning into a regular guy, and that drives her nuts. So the humor of it is basically the crazy ways she comes up with trying to kill Pugsley's.
All right, if you don't want to do that, I suggest just give Sutherland's show Rabbit Hole a try, because honestly, it's one of the things I'm enjoying waiting for every week, and that's literally the only show I'm waiting for.
Are you coming through the wrong mic, Steven?
No, I'm just sitting back. I'm sorry, I didn't want to screen the mic, but I suggest Rabbit Hole, Sutherland's new shit. It's actually good.
Donald Sutherland?
Yeah, it's called. Yeah, it's Rabbit Hole. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you asking me about it.
Yeah.
I'm with Steven. I didn't think I'd like Wednesday. I fucking loved it.
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out, but like I know.
I even liked what was it? Sabrina. Sabrina at the beginning, I liked it, but the seasons just started, like you guys were saying earlier. The second season is what I was just like, what's going on here? And it just starts. You start getting drab nightmares of Riverdale, and you just don't want to go down that road.
Yeah, again, it's Al Gough and Miles Miller. They are the founding fathers of the CW as it stands. They had their hit show on WB, and then when they merged with CBS to make CW, they were the flagship show with Smallville, and everybody wanted to copy what they were doing, and that's how we got to what the CW is now.
Between that and Supernatural, yeah.
Now they're over on Netflix doing the same thing, and it's going to be, listen, it's going to have its sweet points, it's going to have its peaks, but mostly it's going to have a lot of valleys, because you can't keep up with that level of gimmickry, which is what those two guys are known for.
And what was that other show, Dawson's Creek or whatever was that?
I don't know any before them. Yes, they basically took the Dawson's Creek model and said, hey, let's do this on genres. And so they started with superheroes, and now they're going into classic television. Who knows? Someone's probably going to try and get the rights to the Munsters and do a revival of that on Netflix, because
they already did it with
Rob Zombie. Property is already worth nothing now after Rob Zombie, so it's going to be cheap.
Script, I did have a question though. You know, with the announcement of the animated film for Babylon 5, do you think JMS is pushing the same way he pushed the TV series? I believe he did a made-for-TV movie first before the series got taken up. Do you think he's trying to push an animated series?
It'd be a lot easier on makeup and expenses for some of the cast that's still alive.
It sounds like they already got the first movie thing done already almost.
Oh yeah, it's already been done and screened privately, like Bruce Boxleitner.
And all this stuff's done digitally now, so you basically have all the assets now, and it amortizes a show if you want it.
It also saves from having to find new actors to fit roles that pretty much it's really hard to fit those roles, because those actors nailed it so perfectly.
Well, not just that. What about the age difference now? That you can have it literally pick up from where the show left off, and it doesn't matter, because in animation nobody.
And they can redo the Shadow War so much better. Just give us a better.
Which is what I hope they take advantage of with Married with Children, because I'm disappointed they didn't basically use the idea I initially had, but 90s show kind of beat them to it anyway.
Well, Christina Applegate is suffering right now from MS,
and that's why I think the reason they're going animated.
She's probably not going to be able.
Actually, she said she's going to be a part of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And that's what I was saying, Script, is I think that's part of the reason why they just decided to say fuck it and went animated.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I think she's the main catalyst for that. Because I think they knew they couldn't get away with doing the show without her.
If they could do Married with Children in the style of Drawn Together, they would have something pretty cool.
Well, in my version, actually, I knew she wasn't doing well or whatever before, and that's why I said that's the beauty of my version is you could not have her written out, but she could just be jet setting all over the world being a model, right? So you don't necessarily have to have her present to have her present.
But, could use FaceTime technology to get her
other things,
talk with her kids. Like you never see her below the shoulders.
Yeah, or even just on the phone and stuff like that, whatever.
Because the funny thing is, Script, remember when we were covering the Babylon 5, Ivanova wouldn't do an interview until the project was greenlit, right, for the new Babylon 5 stuff, right? So hopefully now we can get the interview that we waiting a year for.
Yeah.
But I hope they take advantage of Married and actually pick up the show right where it left off and don't change anything. I mean, really, we need something like Married with Children.
They need
right now.
they need the 90s to be a statement right now, just to show, hey, remember this? It was good. Bring it back.
Yeah. But that's going to rely on good writing and good showrunners, and let's see how that rolls.
It's going to be hard to find writers that could live up to what Married with Children pulled off. Because how many poems are you going to have writers nowadays create regarding like how great the nudie bar is, like for Married with Children? Like it's just
Peg, it's Hondo.
Hey, I think we need to bring back the nudie bars.
Yeah, we do.
What was their group? Was it No Ma'am? Was that Al's
No
group?
Ma'am, yes.
No Ma'am, yeah.
No Ma'am, yeah. But anyhow, I hope you guys had fun. Head on over to Culture Casino stream. Maybe you'll see some of our faces over there. We'll see you there soon. And take care of yourselves. Check out Fat Steven's channel. You got anything coming up?
Same stuff I always do. Just playing games and doing channel art for people on YouTube, content creators who need their art updated for their channels, whether on Rumble or YouTube, every Wednesday.
Cool.
Sweet business. Yeah. Script Doctor, what are you doing?
Well, tomorrow morning, I'm going to do another pass on my latest Patreon article, which will be dropping that afternoon. If I don't get dragged away by the girlfriend, I'll be joining you guys on Midnight's Edge in the morning. And then later this week, I'll be dropping a fun little video conversation I had with Robert Burnett and Paul Chado about talking tech and film and television and the byproducts and issues of what that entailed. It's going to be kind of an evergreen video. It doesn't have much to do with today's current politics and stuff, but that's going to be dropping later. But if you're already a Patreon, you can see that video now. So please go check it out.
Any code
maybe. Yeah, maybe. Can't guarantee when, but eventually I'll jump back in there. Yeah, I haven't been on since last week.
Oh my God, you're getting the shakes, aren't you? I need to kill something.
He's like, no, getting stuff done.
No, I need to kill it.
With the strike happening recently, I've had to reorganize my schedule.
Wait. Shay just sent me an article. The Little Mermaid first look at Kiss the Girl music number airs during the MTV Movie Awards.
I saw that.
I'm gonna throw up.
Who cares?
Kiss the girl after you sign the form. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Disney keeps hitting the home runs on the box office recently. So
yeah, if your
I saw was part of your world.
If the box office is the ET cartridge graveyard, yeah, they're hitting it out of the park.
Mm-hmm.
Send me the link to that, Steven, if it's up. I want to see that because the one I saw was the part of your world.
Well, it's better than what I saw from Indie, but I won't go into that either.
Yeah, I know. Well, we might talk about that on Cultures because I thought we might get into it on VRs, but we never got to it.
Let's put a new private chat for you. Thank you, Jake.
Awesome. Thank you. So, Jacob, what you got coming up?
Tomorrow night we're gonna be doing a movie review for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Myself, Rick, and Rob Motto. Tuesday night we have the Ballroom Podcast where we all talk about the big entertainment news of the week. And then next Tuesday night, Chris Gore is gonna join us for the Ballroom Podcast to talk about his new Attack the Show documentary. So
Sweet.
yeah, we'll have some good things coming up here in the next couple of weeks.
Please introduce us to Frank Gore
in IMAX 3D. And then we got the biggest YouTuber of them all, the best YouTuber of them all, Mike, the Mexican Iron Man.
You want to know what I got coming up?
What you got coming up?
Sleep.
You're going on vacay.
Right now I'm going to sleep.
Well, you're gonna go on vacay though.
But I am gonna go on pew pew vacay.
Pew pew vacay. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
thanks for coming, everybody. Thanks for your support for the Salty Nerd Podcast. Join us for Midnight Edge in the morning with the great Tom Connors, the great Andre, and a slew of guests.
Script is going to try to be there tomorrow.
And
I'm sure we'll talk some more about the writer's strike.
Oh, yeah.
So with that,
I got molested in a little boy's room.